Let's try the BK Beauty Nikki LaRose Pro Artist Series set. So I have been wanting this for a while. I actually watch a little bit of Nikki LaRose. Her videos are like longer form content. If you're like talking about like an hour, 50 minutes, she reviews like every single blush in Sephora, every single highlighter in Sephora. So if you're into that, definitely watch Nikki. But you know, also I really like BK Beauty. If you can't tell, I have a lot of their brushes and I've wanted this set for a while. It was on sale, I picked it up, okay? So now to put it to the test here, it's a 7-piece set. So I'm going to go in with the N16, which I feel like is one of the most famous ones. One of the more popular brushes from this set. And I have used this brush before already, I will say, and I really like it. I like the little wispy, you know, hairs, just to kind of like blend things out. I find that it didn't leave a streak on me. I feel like this is a very good like cream eyeshadow brush or a really good concealer brush. I use it just for the base right now, but I've used it under my eyes and like it. But I think for a cream eyeshadow, I've also used it for a cream eyeshadow and really enjoy it. Microfiber cloth, and then it's like rubbing the brush in there just to kind of take off the excess concealer. I'm gonna go with this Viseart palette, which are just some mattes, and I'm gonna go with like this brown tone right over here. This is the N13 brush. This palette doesn't have a mirror, so I'm gonna have to use you guys. There's a little bit of like a stiffer type of brush. If you can see the shape, it's kind of like not too fluffy. Use this as well, just to preface, and I really enjoy it. Also, these shadows I know are good. They're really good. So if something goes wrong, it's probably the brush and not the eyeshadow. But I have used this and I don't think it'll be the brush. I don't think there'll be any issue. I'm trying to do like a matte-ish eye, because like I'm doing this on purpose, like kind of stabbing myself, not prickly at all. Like this brush is super soft. N12, which is like a smudger brush. I typically wouldn't use this for what I'm about to do, but why not? So I'm going to pick up some shadow and I'm just going to try to brighten my lid. I think this color might not be bright enough. Let me get a wider one. So I got a wider shade and I'm just going to pop this on my lid. The N11 brush, and this is the angled brush, and I'm gonna try to add a wing. As you can see, it's very angular. It's also a little bit stiffer, so I'm gonna see what I can do with it. Okay, I don't hate it. It is a little big once I get closer to my, you know, the inside, but I think for the outside, it worked fine. The wing definitely came out really nice and really like, wow. But as you can see, this is kind of how it looks. It's like a bit of a thicker brush. I think this would be more so for like carving or something, a little bit like brows. I don't know if it's the best for a wing. I mean, the wing does look nice, but I'm like not breathing and trying real hard not to do anything. I also do like to add on the inner part, so I'm just trying to go with the tip of it. We're gonna go with the N17, and I believe we just kind of use it like a sweepy type of situation, like maybe like a bit of a pat and like sweep. So definitely what I'm gonna be doing, trying to stay on the lighter side. That is supposed to be like the side that is more how do I say it, like for the creams and everything, and the other side's supposed to be for powder. Without this is with, as you can see, there's no streaks or anything. I'm gonna make sure I get in my nose. And I am going to look in a mirror. Like after foundation, this is what the brush looks like. This side is still relatively clean. This side is dirty. I am going to wipe it off on a towel like thing, but I'm getting up close just so you can kind of see no streaks, no anything on the face. The N15 is like this big brush. I would use this more for like a powder product, but she used it for cream, so let's use it for cream. Blending relatively nice. I tend to always blend like this way, so it feels weird like dragging up, just because it's something I'm not used to. Now I'm gonna wipe it off a little bit, just the side that I use, and I'm gonna go in some bronzer, like flip it to this other side, and just start to blend this out lightly. Now let's go in some blush, and I'm gonna use this brush again, the N17, gonna go with the side I use foundation on, and I'm just going to place this right here. I really like the way Nikki holds her brushes. I think she holds them like this, which love. Applying good, but the brush has been like going through it. Still applying well, just using and abusing the brush, obviously, because there's only 7. Do a full face with it, you're gonna have to use some of them multiple times. Contour, so let's get some on like the wispy edges. Draw the line down, you can definitely see it. Same thing with this side. Well, I mean, at least compared to the other one, feels like it cleans off so easily. Like, look, it looks like untouched. I use this N14. Some people use it for concealer too. I'm gonna use it for concealer right now and use it for these like bigger areas. I really like this for the under eyes, and just make sure I get in this little crevice. I kind of tend to go like flatter in here where I want more coverage, and then just on like this little parts where it's blending in, kind of utilizing those wispier edges. Pick it up on the end, N14, grabbed it on one side. Make sure I have that loaded in there. Just going in. Down here, I actually really like this as an under eye setting brush. Going in with the N17 on the black end, and just setting my cream blush first, and then setting my cream blush, setting my nose, setting my chin. I'm gonna go with the N15 for some bronzer. Same thing for my forehead. This has really nice pickup for a brush, and it also is like dusting away on the forehead. This is what the brush looks like. Definitely, so you can tell the bronzer's on there. It's on the brush. I'm just putting it more towards the apple on the inner part right here. Very pretty. If I were to use one brush for highlight, it's gonna be this N14. So I'm just gonna dip in there lightly and a light dusting. Look at that. This is a really nice highlight like shape. It's the one I would use. Gonna add a little bit of shadow on the lower lash line with the smudger, the N12. So this is a full face using the Nikki LaRose set as the only brushes that I used to achieve this. Yeah, what do we think? This is what it looks like. I'll do a separate video with my thoughts on it. Just because that might be a little bit more easy to like process. That might be a little bit more easy to like talk about my thoughts and everything and make it like its own dedicated video, because this one's probably already going to be long enough just kind of showing what I did. So go to that video, see what my final thoughts are. But yeah, what do we think? What do y'all think of the look? This is what I have. I have a neutrally matte eye with this wing, and yeah, I only use the 7 brushes. Did I have to use them for multiple things? Yeah, but I only use the 7. Okay, kind of a challenge. But yeah, let's go look at the official thoughts. My thoughts on the Nikki LaRose BK Beauty brush set. So I did my whole face only using these 7 brushes. So let's go through one by one, kind of, you know, talking about how I felt about them. So let's start with this one, the most polarizing one, the N17. I actually really, really like this one. I think this is a good brush. These are now available in singles, so I think that's important too, that you might not need to get this whole set, because I believe retail's like 180. You might want to pick up 1 or 2 brushes. I think this one's definitely a good one to pick up. I could also see this a lot for like skincare. I don't know why, I just feel like a nice paddle brush. I don't have paddle brushes, so I do like this. It's very unique in my collection. I use this side for cream. I use this side for foundation and for blush. For foundation, I didn't see any streaks except for on my nose, on this side mainly, but once I like patted it in, it was fine. It might have just been too much product on my nose. And I did cream blush on my cheeks, which is very, very nice to like put on my cheeks. I did like it as a cheek brush as well. So 2 things I could use it for, foundation and cheek. And then this side back here, I did actually like this for powder. So I got my Rare Beauty powder and I powdered my face. You know, it was a little bit more smaller and precise than what I do. But, you know, got here on the chin, here and then on the nose, on the forehead, my cheek, setting my blush. Then we have the N15. This one I think is fine. I think this one, I don't necessarily know if I need it. It kind of reminds me of the brush that Hailey Bieber uses, just a little bit more like tapered and small. But I don't know if I love this for like cream contour and bronzer. I prefer my BK Beauty 109. I really like that one, especially because it's like a little bit more kitten paw. But I did like this for blush. I thought this for blush and bronzer was really nice. Especially for a synthetic brush. Very, very, very nice for blush and bronzer pickup. So I would use it for that. Or for like smaller targeted like powder. I could definitely see that too. I didn't use it because I was trying to use the other one. But yeah, I think this one's more like my powdery brush. I wouldn't really use this to be blending out like my creams. That's just how I like to do makeup. I found that it was a little bit of a hassle, especially on my Milk contour, which is a bit of like a grippier formula. You know, you kind of place it on and really have to like blend it, because it's not like super like emollient, if that makes sense. It is nice and blendable. It's just like with something as like loose, like with something like this, it just won't be blending it as fast as compared to like a kitten paw that would have a little bit more pressure. So I would definitely say this one's more like a powder style brush for me. I have the N16. I think this one's the absolute star of this whole set. I probably need like 2 or 3 of these. I really like this for eyeshadow base. I really like this for concealer. Both of them. I would also, if I did like color corrector more, I think I would also really like this for color corrector. This one I feel like can take the beating. So while the other one, I feel like there's maybe another use in there before I would feel like it's too crusty. This one, I put it through eyeshadow base, I put it through bronzer, I put it through concealer. and it still looks good. I feel like I'd use this a couple more times. Like, I feel like this one's the most resilient out of all of them. I like the little stippling, like wispy hairs. I love like going like this with the concealer and then just kind of feathering out with the stippling hairs on the end. This one's my hero brush. I think this one's probably the best one in the set. And if you have to get one, this one. I think this one's a really, really good one. This is probably my number one. We have the N14. I actually surprisingly really like this brush, and I don't have a brush like this shape. That's like little and kind of like pointed right there. I use this to blend out my concealer on like my bigger areas, which I really like, and then I use it for under eye setting, which I also really liked, and I used it for highlight, which I also really liked. So this one I like, and as you can see, it did handle the concealer, the powder, and the highlight. So this is kind of like the N16. I feel like this one I could use a couple more times. I think this one's really nice. This is probably my number two. I really like it. I think in every aspect this is good. I would also probably get like a second one of these. I think this one's worth picking up by itself. My favorite one is actually gonna be the N13. I really like the N13. I think this is a nice blender brush. It's not too fluffy, but it's also not too stiff, and this is really soft. I think this style of hair in the collection, as you can see, there's kind of like different hair types. I think this one is the softest. This one and like that big powdery one look like the same type of hair. Now, I don't know if it's just a color thing or the actual like fiber, but I think this is the softest hair, and this one is really nice. I really like this. This is what I have on the eye just to kind of blend it out. I like the handle. I like how it feels. I love how it blends it out. I like how it packs the product, blends it out. For a synthetic, is really, really, really good. This one I think is worth it to pick up by itself. I really like this, you know, shape, especially for like your smaller eyes. I'm actually gonna say I'm pretty surprised with this one, the N11. I thought putting this liner was gonna be super scary, but as you can see, I have a fierce line. Like, this is a crazy, crazy, crazy liner. A little bit more out than I usually go, and it was kind of a little bit of an accident, but I think this is good. My only critique is I wish it was a bit thinner, because I can't kind of thin it out if I try to like go on the side, and on the side I can't get it like thinner. It's still a little bit chunky, so I have to be really, really like small and precise, but it is a very nice angle. It still holds its shape. It doesn't move. It wipes off really easily. So I really like this, and I could totally see this once again, like to clean out the edges a little bit, to be a little bit more precise. And then also like in the brows. I think this is a really, really good multi-use brush. I definitely recommend this one. The liner is just not something I typically go for, but I think it did work. If you like something like this, it might be great for you. I'll keep trying it to keep testing it, because this is like one of the first times I did it with like an angle brush as well. Then we have the N12. I think this one's just fine. I think out of the other two, I definitely recommend this one the least. I don't think it's a bad brush. It's just a traditional smudger. I don't use smudgers that often, to be honest. You can use it like smudge your lip lines, but I don't tend to do that. On your lower lash line, it's fine. It does what it does. But I don't think this one's anything special. If you already have a smudger, I don't think you need this smudger. I think it's fine. But yeah, it is a little bit more of like a dense smudger. I will let you know that. It doesn't really have too much like give in it. So if you want like a denser smudger, this is definitely it. But yeah, I did this to pack the shade on here, and it did nice placement because it's denser. But in terms of like blending it out, it was a little bit harder because it is denser. Overall, I think this set is really, really nice. I think it's a nice addition to your collection if you already have it. Do I think you need the whole set? Not necessarily. If you have to pick like specific hero products, I would say these three are probably the best: the N16, the N14, and the N13. I think this is a really good like one and done eyeshadow brush. I think this is such a good multi-use brush where you can do a cream eyeshadow, color corrector, concealer, nose contour, and then this one just kind of as like your precise powder brush, your like bigger concealer brush, highlight brush. I think these three are the most versatile if I just had to pick three. I think this one is cool, but I think that one's better. But this is also based on me like abusing this. If I would have used this only for foundation, it might be a little bit different. So yeah, let me know what y'all think. Are y'all gonna pick this up? Are you not gonna pick this up? It's a longer type of video, but I hope you like it. Bye.